pose where your feet are at the side edges of the mat with the feet, a little inward angle of the feet, and then the knees will touch and support each other. So that might be a comfortable position, but just see what feels good to your body. Arms could be at a low V, palms to the ceiling. Hands could be on the belly. Arms could be out to a T. So just see what feels good for you. Begin to make any other adjustments, movements, wiggles to see if your body could be even more comfortable. And if you're okay to close your eyes, or just focusing on a stationary point. I'm just going to take several moments and just arrive here, settling into the body as we sink into the rhythm of the breath. Noticing where your body expands with your inhalation. Sensing how everything returns to the spine with your exhalation. There's nothing to do but simply notice the breath. With each inhalation, begin to invite a sense of ease and peace into the body and mind. With each exhalation, continuing to relax and release as you let your week go. Any muscular holding patterns in the body, release in the hips and the glutes, softening shoulders and neck, relax the muscles in the face and the jaw. And then let's take 3 collective breaths together to just open our practice, taking a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath. And exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Take a moment to check in and see how you feel. And giving yourself a 2-word check-in for how you feel. Grab a blanket and a strap. And then we'll work closer with the breath, moving into a pranayama exercise. We're going to inhale for 3 counts, retain the breath for 3 counts, and exhale for 3 counts. If you need a visual, you can imagine an equilateral triangle. I'm going to do a couple rounds with you, and then you can continue to work with this breath on your own. And if you have a clear nasal passage today, clear nose and breathe in and out the nose. We'll begin inhaling 3. Hold and retain the breath for 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 3. Hold and retain the breath for 3. Exhale 3. Again, inhale 3. Hold and retain for 3. Exhale 3. Continue in this way. Count the breath in your mind. 1, 2, 3 as you take a breath in. 1, 2, 3 as you retain the breath. And 1, 2, 3 as you take a breath out. We'll do this for a couple minutes. Stay with the breath. Inhale 3. firm, present moment. Other thoughts will come to the mind, letting them pass and coming back to the meditation. Here and now, present moment. Make any adjustments if your body can be more comfortable. You can extend your legs down, that would feel better. Stay with the meditation here and now with your inhale, present moment with your exhalation. Few more rounds of breath with the meditation. And with your next exhale, release the breath work and the meditation. Just coming back to the natural rhythm of your own breath. Take a moment to sense any changes in the body or the mind. And then if you have your knees bent, let's extend our legs out long. Reach the arms overhead, coming into a full body stretch. Spread the fingers, point the toes, yawn, release, let go. And then extend your arms out to a T, palms to the floor. Bring your feet to the side edges of the mat, so knees are bent, feet are wider than your hips. And just begin to sway the legs side to side like windshield wipers on a car. Inhale the legs to one side, exhale to the other. And then begin to look in the opposite direction of your knees for a little twist flow as your knees land to your right side, look to the left. And exhale, legs to the left as you gaze to the right. Synchronize the movement with the breath and continue to create the pace and rhythm that feels best to your body. Next time your knees fall over to your right side, let's release them to the floor for a double knee down twist. Look in the opposite direction of your knees and try to just allow your shoulder blades to release to the floor. If you want to increase that stretch in your left quad, take the right ankle to the top of your left knee, making a little fan with the legs, and just allow the weight of that top foot to lengthen out that left quad a little bit more. 2 more breaths. Release that right foot back to the floor. Let's go side to side 3 more times with the flow. And then the next time your knees fall over to your left side, let's release down for a double knee down twist. Shoulder blades releasing to the floor, looking in the opposite direction of your knees. Try to just allow the weight of the legs to release towards gravity. And then if you want to increase that stretch in that right quad, take that left foot to the top of the right knee. Make sure that's okay for your body. Both feet to the sides of the mat, side to side 3 more times. And coming back to center. So just for information, you might see what you want to do with your blanket. We're going to be on our backs for a little bit, so just make sure it feels supported. If it's kind of funky under your shoulders or whatever, open it up so that it just feels most supportive, or not. I just want to offer that. I want you to be comfortable. All right, knees are bent, feet are hips distance apart. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, we're going to take the right knee to the right shoulder, coming into Apanasana pose. So you can interlace your hands on the top of the right knee, underneath the knee, not at all. You could take the strap across the front of the knee if that would feel better. I like to align the knee with the shoulder to help out that hip flexor a little bit. If it would feel better to come in closer to the midline of your body. So those are just kind of the variations that you can offer yourself for more comfort. Let the shoulder blades continue to sink into the floor, the back of the skull sinking into the floor. And then come to your left side. You can keep that left knee bent, or you could extend that leg to the floor. You're going to work with that leg extension on that left side. Flex the foot so we keep that side engaged. And then maybe you want to tuck the chin a little bit towards the chest to lengthen out the cervical spine. You could also tilt the chin towards the ceiling for the opposite stretch. So see what feels good. Make little micro movements and adjustments. And then bring your mind back towards the breath. Mentally affirm, I am at peace within myself. Two more breaths. Send some breath down into the right hip. And then incorporating some ankle circles on that right foot, starting in a clockwise position. Reverse directions, opposite way. Release the ankle circles. We're going to make hip circles or knee circles, so just begin to rotate that knee around in a clockwise position. You could have 0 to 2 hands on that knee. Finding that pace that feels good and making as big or small of circles as feels good to your body. Next time that knee comes towards the chest, reverse directions. Opposite way or counterclockwise. I still have a flexion in my left foot, so that side is anchored and rooted to the floor. Good, bring that leg back towards the center, interlacing your hands around the knee. Actually take that right hand to the knee, bring your left hand to your hip. Take a big breath in, and then with that exhale, let the right knee fall out to the right side. So I kind of use my right elbow to prop that knee open to the side, going for an abductor stretch, the inner thigh there on the right side. Keep your left side rooted, so make sure the left heel, left buttock, left shoulder blade is still connected to the floor. You could also take a strap around that knee if you need support there. Awesome. 2 more breaths. And then we'll inhale that knee back towards center, and exhale, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Interlace behind the thigh. Keep a big bend in the knee. We're not going for a straight leg just yet. This is probably everyone's first hamstring stretch, so let's be gentle and take it easy coming on in here. So big bend in the knee. Anchor that right side back towards the floor. With this leg extension, the pelvis may be a little bit off center, so just try to anchor that right side of your sacrum and pelvis back towards the earth. And now we're going to flow with all of these movements, and then we'll eventually hold a hamstring stretch with this strap. So inhale, take the knee back towards the chest. Exhale, release your knee out to the side. Inhale that knee back towards the chest. Exhale, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. 2 more flows. Inhale, knee back towards the chest. Exhale, release that knee out to the side. Inhale, bring the knee back towards the chest. Exhale, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. 1 more flow. Inhale, back towards the chest. Exhale, release out to the side. Inhale, back towards center. And exhale, releasing that leg back up towards the ceiling for 2 breaths. And then point those right toes. Exhale, lower that leg to the floor. Take an integrating breath here. Big breath in. And then with your next inhalation, take the left knee towards the left shoulder. Apanasana to the other side. Our bodies are balanced in different ways. If this side is tighter, then maybe interlace underneath the knee along the hamstrings, or not at all, just have your arms alongside your body. flex the right foot so that side is engaged. Let the skull release to the floor, let your shoulder blades sink into the floor. Sacrum releasing into the floor. And we'll begin to incorporate some ankle circles, starting in a clockwise position. And reverse directions with the ankle circles. And then we'll release the ankle circles. Begin now hip circles, so rotate that left knee around. Starting in a clockwise position, making as big or small of circles as feels good on this side. Still keeping a flexion in that right foot so that side is anchored. And the next time the knee comes towards your body, reverse directions. Opposite way or counterclockwise. Good, we'll release that knee back towards the chest. So now take the left hand to the knee, right hand could come to the right hip. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, let the left knee fall out to the left side for adductor stretch. You can prop that knee with your elbow. You could also wrap your strap around that knee to help that knee go out to the side. Rooting your right heel, buttock, and shoulder blade to the floor. Stay with the breath. Inhale that knee back towards center, and then extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Big bend in the knee, interlacing behind the thigh. Welcome length to the hamstrings. As thoughts come to the mind, just greet them, let them go, and come back to your inhalation. One more breath here. With your exhalation, we'll take that knee back towards the chest, and then we'll begin our flow. Inhale, release the knee out to the side. Exhale, bringing that knee back towards your body. Inhale, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bringing the knee back towards the chest. Two more flows. Inhale, release to the side. Exhale, back towards center. Inhale, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the knee back towards the chest. Last flow. Inhale to the side. Exhale, back towards center. Inhale, extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Holding there for 2 breaths. And then point the left toes and lower that leg to the floor. Grab for your strap and unravel the strap. We're going to take it across the ball or the center of your right foot, and we're going to extend that leg up towards the ceiling. So you can either have that left knee bent with the foot on the floor or extend that leg to the floor. So still invite a softness in the knee. You don't want to lock in the knee. And try to align the ankle and the knee over your hip. So I kind of release my leg a little away from my body so that the joint structures are aligned on top of each other. Here again, you want to root that right side of your pelvis back towards the floor. It's just a little isometric stretch. And then arms up with the strap, you could have your arms extended away from your body with the hands up closer to the foot. You could also just relax your elbows on the floor and have your hands down on the strap. So see which variation for your arms feels good. And just begin to send some breath into the back of the leg there. Four more nice deep breaths. All right, we're going for a bigger adductor stretch. So take both parts of the strap in your right hand closer to the right foot. Left arm comes out to a T, palm to the floor. Flex your left foot so the left side is engaged. We want to root the left limbs to the floor. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, release your right leg out to the right side. Doesn't matter how far you go, when you feel a stretch in the adductor inner thigh, Then hang there with your breath. Stay there for a few breaths, and then maybe little by little you can go a little bit deeper into the stretch. We don't want to lift the left buttock and the left side off the floor. And you could still invite a little softness and flexion in that right knee, even with this extension with the strap. 2 more breaths, release if you need to before. And now we'll inhale, bring that leg back towards center. Take both parts of the strap on the left hand. Right arm comes out to a T. We're going to do a little bit of a leg over to the left side, but we're not even rolling onto that left hip. Going now for an IT band stretch on the outer part of that right leg. 1 more breath here. Inhale that leg back towards the ceiling. Release the strap. Point the right toes and exhale, lower that leg to the floor. 2 integrating breaths here. Big breath in. Another nice deep breath. Noticing differences or changes from the left or the right side. And then bring your right foot to the mat and the left foot to the mat. We'll start with both knees bent. Take the strap now across the ball of your left foot or the center of your left foot, and we'll extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Once again, our bodies are balanced in different ways. We'll see what kind of variation you need here. If it's really tight, just take a bigger bend to the knee. And as the musculature warms and lengthens, then you can straighten that leg a little bit more. See about the arm variation, up towards the foot or down on the floor with the hands on the belly. And then right leg stays bent, or you could extend that right leg to the floor. Try to align your ankle and your knee over your hip. And keep rooting that left side of your pelvis back towards the floor. Reconnect with your breath. Mentally affirm, I am awesome at taking care of myself. 2 more breaths. Good, we'll take our abductor stretch, so both parts of the strap on our left hand closer to the left foot. Right arm comes out to a T, palm to the floor. With your next exhalation, begin to release your left leg out to the left side. Keeping the right side of your body rooted to the floor as best as you can. A little bend into that left knee, just protecting that ligament and joint structure. 1 more breath. Inhale that leg back towards center. Grab both parts of the strap with the right hand. Left arm comes out to a T, and then a little shift over to the right side with that left leg. Doing that IT stretch there. Inhale back towards center. Release the strap, point the left toes. Exhale, lower that leg to the floor. You can release the strap to the side for now. And just take again a couple integrating breaths here, letting all of that integrate into the body. Take a deep breath in. And another nice deep breath. Take your right foot to the floor and your left foot to the floor. Right knee to the chest, left knee to the chest. Bring a hand to each knee, making circles with the knee, starting in a clockwise position. Massaging those multifidi muscles that go all the way down to the sacrum and the low back. And the next time they come to the chest, reverse directions, opposite way. Towards center. Bring the arms alongside the body, knees are still into the chest, and then release the legs away from the body so your calves are parallel to the floor. We're going to do some core strengthening here. So all we're going to do is release the right tiptoes down to the floor and back up into the air, left tiptoes to the floor and back into the air. So that's all we're doing, is releasing tiptoes to the mat and bringing that foot back up. This doesn't seem like this is much. This is strengthening the transverse abdominis. So that's that abdominal muscle around the pelvis, which creates truly the foundation of the body. So rectus is awesome to strengthen, but we really need to get those foundational core muscles as well. Let's do 2 more on each side. That set is complete. Just take the knees to the chest for a couple breaths. You can turn your head side to side to release in the neck. Bring the head back to center. Bring your arms back alongside the body and then return your calves to be parallel to the floor. And now we're going to extend so that our heel touches the floor and bring that knee back into the air. Release that left heel down and back to the air. So we'll do 5 on each side with this variation. One more set on each side. Good, and when that's complete, once again, knees into the chest, hugging the arms around the shins, taking some nice deep breaths into the belly. One more breath. And release the feet back to the floor. Arms are back alongside the body. We're going to do a bridge flow to counter stretch our core muscles. So line the ankles below the knees. We're going to inhale as we lift the pelvis off the floor, bringing your arms overhead until you come up to your shoulder blades. And then exhale, release back down one vertebra at a time, bringing the hands back to the starting position. Inhale, lifting up. Hips come up, arms overhead. And then exhale, release back down. So try not to turn your head side to side as you continue with this bridge flow, just protecting in the cervical spine. Really pressing to the heels of the feet as you lift the pelvis here in this bridge flow. Let's flow 2 more times and then we're going to hold. All right, so everyone come back down and then we'll keep our arms alongside the body. With your next inhalation, press yourselves up into bridge. So you're up on the shoulder blades, back of the skull, pressing the palms into the floor and the feet. One more breath here, engage the glutes here, glutes are engaged. And then exhale, release back down. Once again, knees into the chest, this time we'll rock elbow to elbow. And then roll to your right side so you can come up to a seated position. Palms facing down on the knees. If Sukhasana doesn't work for your body or is uncomfortable, you could extend one or both legs out. You could also just bring the soles of the feet together, palms down on the knees, and just make simple circles with the torso. Circle up towards the feet and rounding back towards your hips. You could be sitting on your blanket if you want a little comfort under your bum or not. Next time you come up towards the feet, reverse directions, opposite way. And then back to center. Cat-cow flow, we'll keep the hands at the knees. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, we'll tuck the chin towards the chest as we arch back to cat back. Press the spine behind you. And inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, heart comes forward, look to the ceiling and cow spine. Exhale back to cat back. And inhale into cow spine. Moving in this way with your breath, cat-cow flow. Awakening the spine and giving a little boost to the immune system. 3 more with the breath. Good, last one. And returning back to center. Half moon Ardha Chandrasana. We'll take the hands alongside our hips. Inhale the arms overhead into temple. Extend the index fingers, fold the rest. Exhale, you shift the torso over to the right side. Keep your sits bones rooted to the floor. Inhale, come back to center, reaching through the index fingers, re-lengthening in the spine here. And exhale, shift over to your left side. So go side to side a few more times. It's not a huge shift, we're just kind of hinging to the side. Opening up the side waist and the side body. Try to keep head between the elbows as best as you can. Good, and then the next time you come to your left side, we're gonna let that left hand come down into a side bend. We'll move into a little side bend flow. Inhale brings you to center and exhale over to the side. So continue in this way with your breath. Find that pace and rhythm that feels good to your body. Inhale, center, exhale to the side. Good. Next time you come to your right side, let's hold there together for several breaths. Top palm can face the floor. Even try to invite that top shoulder to soften down the back, away from the ear. Notice your breath. Inhale back to center, exhale over to the other side. Inhale back to center, exhale, walk the hands out for a simple seated forward fold. So arms can be extended from the body. You could come down to elbows. Or want to keep the bum connected to the floor rather than lifting your buttocks off the mat. You can let the body take shape of the pose here, so you can let your shoulders round and let the head hang. And once you settle into your pose, then breathing into the hips and lay back. Three more nice deep breaths. Good. And then walk the hands back towards the body. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards your body, and bring your feet out towards the side edges of the mat. Just sway the knees side to side, releasing our hips from our cross-legged position. Next time your knees land over to your right side, let's release them to the floor, gazing down to your left hand for a little twist. Inhale, head and knees back to center, and exhale in the opposite direction. Inhale back to center. So lean back into the hands. We're going to take our left ankle bone to the right thigh bone for another little hip opener. So if that is super intense, scoot the foot further away from your body to decrease the intensity of that stretch. And if you want to increase the intensity, take the foot closer to your body. Imagine you've got a string being tugged from the heart, so you still want to lift through the heart. You can even gaze up to the ceiling. And a little bit of a neck stretch while we open up that hip flexor. And then for the last two breaths, flex that left foot. Good. Release, we'll switch sides. Both feet on the floor, and then right ankle bone to your left thigh bone. Making modifications, variations for your body. Lifting through the heart, looking up if you can. And then flex that right foot for the last couple breaths. And release. Extend the legs out, shake out your knees a little bit. And now left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. All right, we're going to do another forward fold and a twist. So hands alongside your hips. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips, coming towards that leg. So you could take your strap here across the foot if you want to use your strap here. Here, let's invite more of a flat back. So rather than rounding the shoulders, try to invite your shoulders to stay on the back body. Encouraging that bent knee towards the floor as best as you can. Notice your breath. Two more breaths. And then let's release the strap. We're going to inhale, take the hands towards that front foot back overhead. Left hand lands at the right knee, right hand behind you, twisting towards your bent knee. Breathe into the back body and spine. Two more breaths. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, float the arms down, 3 shoulder circles in each direction. Good, let's extend extend both legs out, shake out your knees a teeny bit. And now we'll switch sides. Left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. If your left knee is in the air and it's uncomfortable, you could actually fold your blanket underneath that hip so that that knee has support. See if you need that support. Flex your right foot. Let's inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown, hinging at the hips, coming towards that leg. You can take the strap if you want to use the strap here for your fold. Otherwise, you can place your hands alongside the thigh, the knee, calf, ankles, or toes. Awesome. Take those shoulder blades back to the back body. Invite more of the heart and the belly towards the leg. And then you could look down at the knee of that extended leg to keep neck in alignment with the spine. Notice your breath. Two more deep breaths here. And then release the strap if you're using one. We'll inhale, take the hands towards the front foot back overhead. And now right hand at the left knee, left hand behind you, twist to the other side. Two more breaths, breathing into the back body and spine. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, float the arms down, 3 shoulder circles in each direction. Good, extend both legs out, shake out your knees again. And let's come to hands and knees for a few poses. So you might want to use that blanket underneath your kneecaps so you have some support. We're going to line the wrist under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. You've got space between the hands as well as the knees. If you need support for wrists, you could take hands to fists. You could also roll up the top of the mat to support underneath the heels of the hands. So see if you need that support. Cat-cow flow. We'll take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, arch up into cat back. Bring the belly button towards your spine and press the back of the heart to the sky. Inhale into cow, lifting tail, gazing up, let the belly be soft. Exhale up to cat back. And inhale into cow. Continue in this way a few more times, cat-cow flow. Three more with the breath. Good, last one. And we're going to release into Balasana, child's pose. Take the buttocks towards the heels. If you can, take your forehead to the floor with either your arms extended or alongside your body. If forehead doesn't naturally reach, stack a couple hands on top of each other to rest upon. And also just come to the elbows. You may want to also widen your knees out towards the side edges of the mat if that would feel better to knees or hips. Practice relaxing in the hips and the glutes. And inviting your mind towards your breath as you try to release your thoughts. Four more nice deep breaths. And with your next exhalation, we'll walk the hands back towards the body. You can bring your knees back towards each other. We're going to do a wrist stretch, so you can either sit on your heels or you can stay up on your knees. If you want additional foot stretch, then tuck those toes under. We're going to bring our fingertips together, rotate the wrists around in circles. And reverse directions, opposite way. All right, we're going to do half moon for a balancing pose today, so come back to table pose. We're going to start by extending our left leg back behind us. And then the main step here, the first step is just to stack your hips on top of each other. So roll that left hip so it comes up over your right hip. Here I kind of move my right hand a little closer towards the center of the mat so that I have a little better support here. You can keep your left fingertips on the floor, or you can take your left hand to the hip, or you could extend that arm to the ceiling. So eventually we would be gazing up to the hand that's in the air, and we might be wobbly and falling out, and we just come back in and practice perseverance. But really the main thing here is stacking the hips on top of each other. Breathing wherever you are. You can gaze down to the hand that's in the air, you could look to the left, or you can gaze up. Okay, one more balancing, strengthening breath. Awesome, take the hand back to the hip, we'll release back to table pose, and then we'll switch that over to our other side. Extend your right leg back behind you. You might want to move that left hand closer to the middle of the mat and then stack that right hip over your left, as best as you can, of course. Right hand can come to the hip, or extending that arm into the air. Press that belly button to the spine, so we're engaging the core here to help with low back and stabilization. Most important part is the breath. So stacking hips and breathing. 2 more breaths wherever you are. Nicely done. Take the hand back to the hip. We'll release the hands and knee back to table. And now take your knees out to the side edges of the mat. Big toes will come towards center. Release back to Balasana with widened knees. Forehead either comes to the floor or stack a couple hands on top of each other. As best as you can, yielding all of your weight into the earth as you sink into the breath. Three more nice deep breaths. Exhale, we'll walk the hands back towards the body. Bring the knees back towards each other. We're going to do some lunges, so come up to the knees. Take a step forward with your right foot. So we want to keep the ankle below the knee for our alignment. If you have tighter knees or hips, you're going to have your foot closer to your body and your torso will be straight up. And if you want to go deeper, you could step forward with that foot so you can sink deeper into the hips. So find your variation of your lunge. You might want to pad underneath that patella bone. And sometimes when it's tight and uncomfortable, our shoulders will creep to the ears, so try to soften the shoulders down the back. Notice your breath. And just even notice the body as we hold here. Notice the changes that happen. Things begin to lengthen, and usually that discomfort begins to decrease. We'll take it to a hamstring stretch. So we're going to straighten that right foot, flex the right foot, and take the hands to your hips. And then we'll flow with these 2 movements. Inhale back to the lunge, and exhale back to the hamstring stretch. Inhale, lunge. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale, lunge. And exhale back. Come back to the lunge. Take the hands to the floor. We're going to tuck our left toes under, lifting up for runner's lunge. And then keep both hands on the floor. If you want to try a twist variation, extending your right arm to the air. Breathing whichever variation you're in. 2 more breaths. Exhale, release that right hand to the floor. Release your left knee to the floor, and then arms come up to a V for exalted lunge. Mentally affirm, I am awesome. Both hands to that front knee. Yield and push yourselves up to switch sides. Take your time. Okay, padding underneath that knee if you need it. Our bodies are balanced in different ways. Maybe you start off a little bit lighter here in the stretch. Otherwise, deepen the stretch, aligning your ankle below the knee. Let those shoulders release away from the ears. Sinking into the hips as you find your breath. And be kind in your mind. Stay curious about your body and compassionate about your body. Release the judgments and just say, wow, I have tight hips. That's amazing. One more breath. Transitioning to our counter stretch. We'll straighten that left leg, flex the left foot. Hands come to the hips. And then we'll begin to flow. Inhale into the lunge. And exhale back to the hamstring stretch. Inhale into the lunge. Exhale back. One more flow. Back to the hamstring stretch. And release back to the lunge. Hands to the floor, right toes tuck under, runner's lunge to the right side. And then stay in runner's lunge, or if you want to try the twist variation, lifting your left arm into the air. Breathing, 2 more breaths. Good job, y'all. Release the left hand to the floor, right knee comes to the floor, arms come up to a V for exalted lunge. Mentally affirm, I am powerful. Release the hand back to that front knee, yield and push yourselves up. We are going to come back onto our backs. We're not going to do standing today. So you can use the strength of your core to slowly lower yourselves back down. And then once you reach the mat, we'll take our feet back to the side edges, knees are bent, arms come back out to a T, and we'll again sway the legs side to side as we look in the opposite direction of our knees for a little twist flow. One more to each side. Good. Return back to center. Keep the knees bent, but bring them hips distance apart. We're going to do another keyhole pose. So take your right ankle bone to the left thigh bone. And find that variation. If you already have a stretch in your right hip, hang here. Next variation is take the left knee towards the chest. And last variation would be to thread the hands through to either the top of the left knee or underneath the left knee. You could also use the strap rather than interlacing your hands. We want to relax the shoulders and the head on the floor for this stretch. So work with that variation so you can accommodate relaxing the upper body. Breathing into the right hip. Relax your jaw and face. Sensing your breath. Flexing both feet for the last 2 breaths. And we'll gently release. Take the feet back to the floor. Ankles together, knees together. Just sway the knees out a few times to each side. Back to center. Bring the feet back to hips distance apart. And now left ankle bone to the right thigh bone. Find a variation of keyhole that feels good on this side. See if you want to tuck the chin or lift the chin towards the ceiling. Now sending some breath down into that left hip. Relax as best as you can. And flexing both feet for the last 2 breaths. And we'll gently release. Ankles together, knees together. Rock the knees out a little bit to each side. We're going to move into our final relaxation. So extend your legs out long. Reach the arms could be at a low V, palms to the ceiling. You could also come back to that constructive rest pose where feet are at the side edges, knees come to the center. A last variation for the legs, you could bring the soles of the feet together and your knees fall out like butterfly. We'll see which variation for the legs feels good here. Once again, come back to the breath. Shavasana is an opportunity to integrate our practice into the body, mind, and spirit. With each breath, allowing that integration as you invite your whole self to stay in a peaceful state of relaxation. attention back to your breath. Deepening and lengthening the breath to reawaken your body. And gently begin to invite gentle movements to your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes. Maybe circling wrists or ankles. If you'd like, you could extend your legs out long, reach your arms overhead into a full body stretch. And then roll to your right side. Use your lower arm to support your head. Taking a couple more relaxing breaths on your side in the fetal position. Still allowing for integration. And using strength when you're ready with hands, elbows, and arms, gently lifting yourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Take your time. Facing down on the knees. If you're okay to close the eyes or just cast your gaze downward. And just take a few moments to practice self-sensing, noticing differences or changes than before we began together this morning. And check in how you feel. Give yourself a 2-word check-in for how you feel. Turn the palms to the ceiling. We'll close our practice with one Om, just the letter O and the letter M together. You can listen or sing along. Take a deep breath in to begin, please. Inhaling. Bringing the hands to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much. Blessings for your day.